So great. So they've started the recording. I wanted to welcome everyone to Google Mail or Gmail as it is best known. And we're going to work today on some efficiencies and how to um, how to update email, what the little icons mean all over the place, and all the exciting things that you see on Gmail. So we're all familiar with our email at this point. We were forced to use it whether we wanted to or not in starting in 2020, right? So we've all become experts. We've all had to become very self-taught in how to use our email information and our email accounts, how to set one up, how to load it on our phones, and all those things. So as we're going through these different steps and these, just keep in mind that there's no expectation that you're going to walk away knowing it. And there's no way that unless you do it on a regular basis, that you know where and what these things are. So I'm going to stop periodically, ask to see if there are any questions along the line. And if you see me go mute really quick, it's because there's construction happening and I'm just muting the line for just a second as noise goes through.
Hi, I just want to say I'm back on.
Oh, welcome back. So do you want to do an intro before I get started?
Union Public Library is pleased to present Rescue Politics X. We are thrilled to have her. We're thrilled to have you. I apologize for the numerous technical problems, and let's go.
Excellent. Any announcements that you want to make before we dive in?
We're having a really wonderful program tonight with the Washington Post reporter. If you're interested on Tulsa, what they found in Tulsa for Black History Month, if you're interested, just write yes in chat and I'll make sure you get on. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And one of the things that Debbie really likes to do, she likes to hear from you, excuse me, as to where you heard about the program. So if you would put that in the chat, and if you want to be added to the mailing list, put your email in the chat as well. And I'm going to stop every few minutes between segments to ask to see if there are any questions. In the meantime, Debbie, if you would be so kind as to give me sharing permission.
Oh, sorry about that, Susan.
That's perfectly okay. Okay, great. So right now you should be seeing my screen. I am sharing Gmail, an email account, so that you can see just how heavy it can get. And I'm sure we've all experienced this. As we're looking through this account, this is what it looks like on the laptop. We're probably all accustomed to seeing it on our phone through the app, through the Gmail app, through our native mail app, and there are two different things. And we can do some of the things on the app that we can do on through the laptop. But in the meantime, I'm going to share a presentation really quick so that we can get some things moving. I want to welcome everyone to Google Mail or Gmail. Learn to be efficient and productive. Those are things that have become very important to us, especially in the last 3 years. So a little bit about me. Susan Justiniano. I'm an IT education specialist, entrepreneur. I'm also an artist, an advocate, a writer, a poet, and New Jersey proud. So born and raised in New Jersey. I have over 20 years of IT education and training experience. I train on various things from mobile devices to how to set up recordings on your phone, Zoom, all those things, all those great things. And just keep in mind as I'm talking through these items that we're going through, that these resources, and there are a tremendous amount of resources available at the Union Library. Debbie can share more about that as we wrap up at the end of this session. But the library is a wonderful resource if you're not sure where to start. That's a great place to start. So in addition to that, I do project management, I do proposals, technical expertise, all kinds of things. I'm a presenter, a speaker, a workshop facilitator, a bilingual writer and poet, and all on and on and on. So today we're going to talk about some Gmail basics, some of those things that we see right in front of us, but we don't really know what they are or what they do or are uncomfortable with getting into them. And technology is just like everything else. At first, you don't know anything about it, but once you become more familiar and once you dive into it, then it becomes more comfortable and more familiar, just like everything. It's like a recipe. You've got to pull all the different components together and know where to use them and how to use them in order for it to get to your final outcome. So we're going to talk about basics. We're going to talk about the action bar, the different icons that are located around it. We're going to talk about archiving versus delete. And we're just going to touch on that briefly because most of the time we delete our stuff, right? We're going to talk about efficiency tips and how to de-stress your email box. When I say de-stress, I mean all those constant emails that we're all getting all day long. And things that we find useless and we don't know how to stop them from coming. So we're going to go into that really quick. So in addition to that, we're going to talk about how Gmail and your Gmail account brings all the Google apps together and you can utilize them on the go wherever you are, wherever you choose to move to. So I just want to take a moment to thank the Union Library. Thanks, Debbie. Big round of applause for Debbie and all the amazing work that her and her team do together in order to bring these types of workshops to us on a regular basis. And let's dive in. Let's take a look at what Gmail looks like. Let's take a look at it together. So that's done with the presentation. I did something really quick there just so we will have an introduction because I really want to get to the nitty gritty of what this application is, what it does, and what's involved in it. So as you can see in front of you, you're looking at a laptop screen and you're seeing Gmail. And you see that it is very basic, very standard, very straightforward. And we're going to go through the different steps of what all these things are on the sides, on the left, on the right, and above, what these different items are and what they do. And we're going to start on the far left-hand side. And if you're following along, please do so. If you have any questions or if you have a comment, you're welcome to put it in the chat. And you're also welcome to raise your hand. And I will stop periodically to see if there are any questions or if anything needs clarification. So as we're looking at the screen on the far left-hand side, you see the icon where it says Gmail. That tells you where you are, what you're looking at. And if you're following along, that's where we are. To the left of that, we see that there is the menu icon. It's become the standard menu, the menu icon across the web, and it's everywhere. When in doubt, look for that. Look for the 3 lines, the 4 lines, and you'll know that that's where your menu is. So here we are. Once I clicked on it, we have our left-hand side panel. Our panel here gives us specific information. It gives us a quick action item, which is composed to get started with an email. It also gives us the standards, and this is very compact and very tight. And you'll see the change as we go to different things like labels and folders. So here we are, we have our inbox, and I can see that I have 122 messages that need to be addressed. So here we also have what's starred or what could be considered as important. And then we also have our sent folder. Our sent folder is very important to us because we want to make sure that we did send or didn't send something that we're looking for. So drafts, have you ever used or started an email as a draft? That is where the email auto saves to when you start to prepare an email. So that's where it goes to. So when in doubt and you think you haven't found it or you've lost it or you're in the middle of composing an email, your phone dies or your laptop dies or you lose internet connection, that's where you go. That's the great thing about doing things on the cloud. And Gmail as well as Google Suites is a cloud product. And that means everything is saved on somebody else's server somewhere else, not on your server at home. And it gives you the flexibility to have the same information in all these different places all the time. So there are more action items. There are more things. We can look at the different things through this, this navigation panel on the left-hand side. You see everything that's there. I can see when someone says, well, I sent you an email. Well, I can't find it. Where do you look? You look in your spam folder. You can also clear out your spam folder and move things to your spam folder, things that are actually spam. You can do that. You know, those emails you get that you say, hey, I have $1 million for you, but I need you to invest in this, or I need you to send me money so I can send you money. That's a spam folder. That's phishing. That's the worst of the worst emails. So we can go here, we can go through these different items here. We have our categories, which were previously called labels. So we can look at that. We can make those categories for ourselves, and we can manage those things for ourselves as well. We can create the new labels. We can add things. We have labels. We have notes. I've utilized the note option here, which is also available on your, excuse me, also available on your mobile device. So you can see a note here on the computer, and you can see that same note on your mobile device. So does anyone know, does anyone not know how to set up an email account in Google? Okay, so we have, you're already halfway there. You've set up your account, now you have access to Gmail, you have access to all this wonderful stuff, and you have access to the G Suite also. And I'll explain what that is in just a moment. As we're looking at this navigation pane, you'll notice that it is to the left of our main window of our email. You can collapse it by clicking on the menu icon, and it reduces the amount of space. But you'll notice that there are some other icons that appear, some quick steps, and that's what these are. And as you hover over them, you can see that all it does is expand to give you the information of what they are, the description of what they are. So we can see that here, and you can navigate up and down this navigation pane by going on this very thin bar and navigating up and down. So that's here. If you wondered what these things are, that's what these things are here. These are your icons for your left-hand navigation pane. So let's talk about what's above. Above our main window, we have our Gmail. You are here. You can always click on that and go to your Gmail. We have our search. You want to search something that's in your email, and you can search utilizing keywords, utilizing specific information. And this is something that as our email boxes grow and expand and are filled with information, that we can then set up filters for. So what is a filter? A filter is if I'm looking for something that says event, and 3/4 of my email box have event in it. I want to drill down that information. And to drill down information, you would set up what are called filters. So you see that there are some automatic filters already set, some default ones, probably the most popular ones, something that has an attachment. For example, if I'm looking for an event that has an attachment, I can just click has an attachment, and anything that has an attachment will appear if it exists in there. So I can also take a look at maybe in the last 7 days. Maybe it's from someone else. I want to look at information. I want to go ahead and search it. So I can do that here. Now I can search it. You see, it has come up. These are my filters right here. These are just some of my filters. And since I don't have anything in there that says event, it's not going to pop up. So now, how do I clear this? How do I get back to my mailbox? So I can click on that. I can go ahead and click on my inbox, and I'm back to my inbox. So here, you'll see in the search field, there are some controls, some search options. And you can look things up that are from a specific person instead of scrolling through your email to find something. You can also look at specific subject, has specific words, things that they don't have. So these are different filters that you can utilize in order to drill down on the search, to search for something specific. And you can go around and play with it. You can even create your own filter. You see that at the bottom here. So if you're an adventurous person, or if you're a person who just likes to have things precisely how you like them, this is a great tool for you. You can go in here and you can create these filters. You can undo them. So there's no fear of them always remaining if you don't need them anymore. If you're doing something that's within a specific time frame, you can go ahead and use a filter for that and then retire that filter afterwards. So in addition to that, we have here along the top, we have uh, our help, which if you need help, you can just click on there. If you're looking how to do something in Gmail, you can click on help, type in a keyword, and you'll likely get a video or a step-by-step guide. Settings, very important. Settings are important for everything and everyone. I don't know about you, but there are some things that I like to change in Gmail that I don't like to see this kind of standard thing that it's all the time and it just gives me just over and over and over again. So right now I can see that I have these different apps that are available in Gmail. I can also see some various settings here. Now, let's say I want to adjust my whole entire email box. I want to see all the settings that are available because I want to make changes. I want to make updates. So I can click on settings, and this will help you make your email more efficient. You can do a variety of different things here. You can change your language in here. You can set up a default phone number for yourself in here. You can also set up the amount of emails you want to see on a regular basis. I have it at 100. You can set it as low as 10. If you don't want to be overwhelmed when you're looking at your email, set it to whatever you're comfortable with so that you only see those messages that you want to see. In addition to that, we have what's the famous undo. I sent that email by mistake. So we have the ability to do that. We have the ability to cancel something, and you can go ahead and set time for that too. That will help with those moments where you're like, I hit send, what did I do? And you want to recall it. So you can do that as well. We also have whether you want to reply or reply all. Recommendation as a person who's been in email in every kind of possible email and email thread possible. If you're going to send something to a group, put them in the BCC. And that means they cannot reply all. They can only reply to one person, the originator of that email. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. So here, as we're going through Gmail, we can also see that we have hover actions. What are hover actions? Hover actions that if you take your cursor, which I'm circling around in the screen, I can hover over it and see what there is, see if there are any immediate actions, see things, controls that I may want to utilize. I have here the ability to then also have send and archive. You can archive something versus deleting something. And that just means it stays in your email box. It just hangs around, it's archived. It does become part of your email box as a whole. So just keep that in mind when you're archiving something. How big is that? Do I really want to archive something that has a video or that has an attachment that's quite large? Because that just takes up space in your email box. Everything is limited and based on the size of your email box. I think Google comes with a standard, if I recall correctly, 15 gigabytes. And if you're a person who receives or sends a lot of attachments, that's going to really catch up very quickly. So keep that in mind too, and I'll show you how to go ahead and save those things to your Google Drive through your Gmail. As we're moving on, we can also set up our text default. Maybe you don't like the standard. Maybe you like to change it. Maybe you like something fancy. Maybe you like something different. You can change it. And it'll default across all of your emails that you can change it. So just keep that in mind when you make changes here. We also have here in the settings, and don't be afraid of the settings icon. This is for your account. Whatever you can do, nothing changes until you save it. You can go back and undo it. You want to make this as comfortable, as clean, as productive, as efficient for yourself as you'd like it to be. So here you see I have all of these checked on. You can check them off if you're a person, that grammar suggestion, those things annoy me when I do them on text. Do they annoy you on email? You can turn those things off. You can enable a dynamic email. You can enable that it gives you pictures and it gives you information. It gives you the content. You can enable those things. Or you can disable those as you like, as you see fit. It's your email box. Do with it as you see fit. So as we're going through these different items, you notice that I have conversation view on. And what that does is it stacks the threads. With conversation view off, you have different email responses. But with conversation view on, you have them all in one thread. So if you're looking for something in the history of that thread, you'll find them all together. That's what that means. Conversation view on. So suggestions for emails to reply when you start typing an email address and it makes that recommendation for you, that's what that means. You could turn it on or turn it off. And you can see that I have a lot of these checked on. Smart reply. Excuse me. So some of these features, play around with them. If you don't like them, you can turn them off. You really like them, you can leave those on. So you can also add information to yourself. You can also do setups for yourself. I don't personally like keyboard shortcuts, so I don't set them up. I don't have keyboard shortcuts set up. I'm a clicker. I like to, the least amount of clicks wins. So I will click to something. I will scroll to something. I will move to something. Keyboard shortcuts are not my thing. They may be your thing. You may like keyboard shortcuts. If you grew up in the world of WordPerfect, if you grow up in the world of DOS, keyboard shortcuts were all the rage and just everything before we could utilize the mouse and utilize those things. You'll see here that for my picture, you can update your picture here. You can add a picture, you can remove a picture, you can add your about me, and I'll show you where to do that in just a moment. And here we have about adding contacts. If you want to add a contact yourself after you've sent an email, you can do that. If you want this to add it automatically, which I don't do because I get so many emails, and I'm sure we all do, I don't want everyone's email address in my contact list. Just not a good thing for me. And you can create a signature. So if you never created a signature and you like to have a specific signature in your email, each and every time, whether you compose something or whether you reply to someone, you can add these different signatures here. You can add your defaults. You can create this like here. As you can see, I have a very short, very short email reply. And I have it labeled as my signature. You can have multiple signatures set up for creating new. You can create a new signature. You can default it. You can create and then decide how you want it. You can add more than one signature. You can add different signatures if you have 4 or 5 different email accounts, each one, especially if you're on a mobile device, you can set that up. You can set up an individual signature for each one of your accounts. So you can go ahead and do that. So poke around in settings, you'll see that information here. You can go around, test it for yourself, send it to yourself, see how you like it. And you can see where you can do a default for new emails when I'm creating a new email. Also, when you're replying or forwarding something, might be a different one, might be something since you're forwarding it to someone you know, or you're replying to something someone has replied to you about. You may not want the same signature. You may want something shortened. Best regards. Thank you for replying. Any of those things. You can add those default items in your signature as well. So here you see that it's before the quoted text and replies. What does that mean? That only means that before the quoted text, which is their reply. So your signature will show up. You type in your reply, your signature will show up, and then the thread will show up afterwards. And then we have these different items here that you can scroll through and you can change. Did you know that you can set up an away message? If you use your Gmail for professional purposes and you want people to get the message that you're not in, or if you want to send them a default, thank you for sending your email. We will reply within 24 hours. Check us out on our website in the meantime. You can add those different things. You can add these different items to your automatic reply. So that's found under settings, which is the gear on the right-hand side. And you can see that and you can go in here and dive. You can save your changes. You can go back and change your changes. You can make the different things happen. So before I go on to the next step, are there any questions about this part here? Okay, great. So in this same area where we're talking about settings, you'll see that we have a bunch of tabs along the top. We have labels, we have inbox, we have account and import, we have filters and blocked addresses, forward and add-ons. And we'll go over add-ons last. So labels, let's say you have some emails that are important to you. You have some emails that you want to have them specifically tagged or labeled or categorized. You can add those here. You can also check out how to view your inbox, which is the one thing that you want to see, right? How do I then go ahead and set up my inbox? How do I create that? How do I change the view of my inbox to see only the important things, the primary things, and then the other stuff can show up in a different tab? So here, under where it says inbox, you can go in here and you can make those changes. You can list your important ones first. If you have something that's listed as important, something that is a priority, you can create multiple inboxes. So as you can see, we can create multiple inboxes and create those searches, those categories, those different things for ourselves. And I want to thank you for your grace. I'm getting over a cold, and it only shows up when I speak for a long time. So here we are. We can set up multiple inboxes and change different things. We can do this. We can go in there. We can customize our email box the way we want it to be. If we don't want to show images, we don't have to show images. We want to show markers, we don't have to show markers. If we have filters, maybe we want to override them, maybe we don't. So we have those changes set up here as well. Now let's talk about accounts and import, which is the next tab. Here you can do a lot of account maintenance here on your for yourself. You can add an email account. You can add another account. You could forward something from your other email, let's say maybe an Outlook email or an older, or maybe an alias email. You can send it here to this specific email box. You can go in here and you can make these changes and you can update this information. Your information here tells me, this is what I was looking for. Add additional storage. I'm currently using 1.505 gigs, which is 6% of your 15 gig mailbox. So keep in mind, there are storage limitations, and you can upgrade what your storage is. And it's relatively inexpensive, but if you don't need to, it's more efficient to clean out your email box than it is to add storage. And we'll go over how to do that in just a few moments. So as we're looking through this, you'll see that it is also on the left-hand side where it tells me what my storage capacity is. So we can make all different kinds of changes here. You can come back to this section here and you can go in here and look at the different things. You can look at your chat. Also, if you didn't know, Google has Google Meet. Google has a chat function, has different things in it. So you can utilize these platforms, these resources through your Gmail just by setting up your account and having that information. And talking about accessing different resources available through Google, right next to the settings icon is this application menu or application launcher. And you'll see it's designated by 3 blocks down, 3 blocks across, and 3 blocks in the center. And if you click on that, you'll see the variety of applications that are available in Google just by setting up your Gmail account. All of these are free and part of the suite unless you're a business person and you need to utilize them as a business person. So there's that. You can utilize you'll see here, you can utilize OneDrive, you can do contacts, wherever you are, you can utilize this information all at the same place and all in the same way. So going there, you can, if you've never used any of these before, you can go in here and you can learn how to utilize them. So those are the different aspects of that. So I'm just going to go back here to our inbox and I'm going to discard any changes that I've made because I don't think I really did anything. And I want to look at my email. I want to see what I have available. I want to see how I can change this, how I can utilize this to the best of my ability. And we're going to take it to the next set of icons that are available. This here, this little box directly below your Gmail icon is your select box. On a mobile device, you're asked to edit if you're using the application and then select accordingly. Here, it's automatic. So here you have the option, if I click on the downward facing arrow, I can see that I can select all. I can select anything that's read, anything that's unread, on and on and on. They give me these options. If I want to select unread, I have a bunch of options that are given to me. I can then go ahead and archive these, all of these emails, I can do that. If you want to archive, select, like, let's say you're working on a project and you're done with it, or you're looking for a job and you have information with a company and email threads. You want to archive that. You want to keep that for future use. So you can do that here. If you want to report spam, this is the quickest way to do that. If you get a bunch of emails from the same thing, you can report it as spam. And then that goes into your Google Analytics. And what is that? That just teaches Google what is spam for you, what is not spam for you in this specific example. You can teach Google how to best provide you with the best experience for yourself possible. And that's how we do these, utilizing these different tools and these different options. You're teaching Google what you like and what you don't like, what you can use, what's important to you, and what's not important to you. Here we also have the ability to delete everything. So if I selected all, what it will do is out of the 122, since I only selected to view 50, it will delete those 50. So I know for a fact that these are all junk mail. So what I'm going to do is just click on delete, just so you see. And now it shows you it's reduced it to 72. And it shows that now I'm seeing another 100, I'm seeing another 50. So this is what I'm talking about spam email. I know that's spam. I don't know, Alan. I don't care that you're thinking about me. I know this spam. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select that and I'm going to click on spam. So I'm reporting it to spam. And this is, so report and subscribe. It's not a subscription. So I just clicked on report. So here we also have the ability, if I select this email, we also see that we have the ability to mark it as read. And we also can create a snooze it, have it come back later. Don't want to see it right now. We can add it to our tasks instead of emailing it to ourselves again and again and again. We can create a task. So you'll notice that on the right-hand side, the moment that I clicked on that, it showed up on the right-hand side and the pane, navigation pane expanded. And the task is this icon here with the check mark. And you can tell because it matches the icon that's directly above your email. So now I can add a date to my task. I can add details to this task. For example, if I want to put in here, remember to reply before the deadline. Or follow up with coworker, right? And I can set a date and time for my task. Let's say I want to do this for tomorrow. Let's set a time. Let's call it 11 a.m. I don't want it to repeat. It works just like every other task function that you've seen. So now I click OK. And now I have a task. So I can go ahead and take a look at it, open up my task. I can close this. I can expand this. And if you're a person who likes to look at your tasks first thing in the morning, you can go ahead, log into your email, click on your task and see what's there. And it tells me what's going on when I have to do it. So that's just directly from the email. Another thing that you can do from your email, believe it or not, is to give it a label. So I want to create a new label. I want to add project management. And I want to put in here maybe resume or job opening. I can do those. So here, I'm just going to remove this and just add the one. Oops. Go back here. I'm going to cut that. Save my clicker, right mouse click, and works like magic. So project management. So under project management, I want to put no, I don't want to nestle that. So hold on. So I'm creating that label. So now you could see when I clicked on it, it created the label specifically for this email. You can manage your labels. If you want to search for something, you can then look for it. So let's go ahead and take a look at our menu. As you can see now, under labels, I have project management. And anything that I have under project management, they will now show up. You can do the same thing if you're looking for job openings, business opportunities, events. You can do things for your resume. If you get resumes, if you're an HR person or you're a person who's looking to hire for your small business, you can also create those labels, resumes that you may have received that maybe in that moment you can't look at them, but you want to go back and look at them. So labels you can do directly from the email itself. You don't have to wait. You can create them ahead of time if you know what your labels are by going to your settings and setting up your labels. You can do that. See here on the left-hand navigation pane, I can click on create a new label. So I want to put resumes. And I'm going to create that one. So you see it shows up there. I want to create now job openings, job offers. Okay, because we want abundance in 2023, and we're going to get all those job offers so we have the ability to choose what we want to do. So those are labels for you. I'm going to take a quick minute, and I'm just going to take a look at the chat to see if there are any questions. And you're interested in hearing more programs like this? Oh, that was from Debbie. Thank you very much for that. Oh, I love this. This is great. Okay. Oh, lots of feedback. Wonderful. Love it. So here, I want to take a moment just to see if there are any questions about what I've covered so far before I go into the next step, as we're rapidly coming to our time. Boy, time goes by when you're having fun. Okay, we are a big but mighty group. And here, let's take a look at what these other in our main email. So if I'm selecting this, you see there that now I have the ability to move this conversation. And how do I do that? If I'm in here and I want to move something, let's say I want to move this to my project management. If I have a folder, I can set up folders. I want to move it to different areas, something that's important. I want to move it to important. So now I could do that. Now, of course, it doesn't do it because I'm here, but you can also click on this to teach Google that emails from this specific person are important for you. And as you can see, as I hover over it, that's exactly what it's telling you. Whether it is important or not important, it's important to you. So you can utilize these different tools. You can star an email so that you can go back. And if you want to look at only those items that you have starred, you can do that as well. You can look at your different categories. You see where I have starred here on directly into the box. So I want to see anything that is starred. So I want to see maybe anything else, anything that might be important to me, anything that has these icons. Teach Google how to help you become efficient. Teach Google how to then create those items for you, how to then streamline your inbox for you. So as we're hovering over this specific line item with this email, you'll notice that here on the right-hand side, there are additional icons. So here, these are also your quick steps, quick things that you don't have to go looking for them. They're right there. You can utilize them, boom. On a single click, you can make changes. Let's say now I'm done with this email and I need to delete it. So since I spent so much time on that one, I'm going to hover over this one. 3 exciting opportunities. How exciting. So don't care. So I'm going to delete that. Here inside my mastermind room. Oh, that's exciting. So, okay, let's mark that as read. Or maybe that's an article I want to read or come back to later. I can do that. I can select this specific item and I can click on any of these icons along the top, including the more option, which is the ellipsis. I can determine if I forget what these things are. I can click on the ellipsis and it'll tell me what these things are. Let's say, for example, if I wanted to create an event, I could do that. I have to go back into my settings in order to activate that option. So I can then create an event from this specific email and put it on my calendar so that I can come back to it later, so that I can view it later when anything you may want to do with this option here. So just remember, if you don't see it here, it's likely available in your settings and you can activate it again. So let's talk about, really quick, attaching and composing. So here you can compose an email and you'll notice that these different options show up. I'm getting information that I can utilize. So I can do that. I can see what my signature is. Let's say, for example, if I want to switch it, I can do that. I can dismiss this because I don't really need that. Eventually, Google will get the message that you don't want to see this. I can expand this on my screen and see, and I want to type an email. Let's say, so I want to type it to rescue. and I want to add a subject line. Events for March. And I want to attach something here. But I'm not at my computer. I'm somewhere else, and I want to be able to attach it through Google Drive or through a Google document where I save my things. I can go in here and do that. There are a couple different ways to do that. You can right mouse click and see what options are available to you. You can do spell check. You can look at different things. If I want to attach something, I can do that from here through this bar that's here on the bottom. I can do different things here. I can undo something. If I realize that I haven't typed something, instead of being repetitious, I can go in there and I can do that. I can add different things. If I want to upload a file, I can do that here. So as we're uploading files, see those icons next to the send function, next to the send button? We have different ones. There are things you can do here. You can schedule it to send at a future date. I want to send an email to someone, but I don't want to send it until Friday because I'm out of the office. And if they reply, I won't be able to get back to them. You can schedule an email to go at a later time, schedule to send. So now you have options and you can pick a specific date and time in which to send it. Let's say you have a reminder for something that's coming up. You have a reminder, you want to send a thank you to someone for a job interview. You want to send a thank you and a follow-up email for that. You want to schedule, you want to prepare it. You're excited. You came out of the interview very excited, but you don't want to send it the same day. You can schedule it to send it at a different day and time. So let's schedule this for tomorrow morning and see what that looks like at 8 a.m. So now here, it's already decided. So now I can go ahead and view my message. As you can see, it popped up right away. It's saved as a draft. It shows up in here, but since I have it open, it probably didn't. So let's go. Huh. So did I do that? Did I click on the wrong thing? Very possibly. Okay, so let's try that again. So here I am. I can do it. I can send my attachment. I know that I can schedule it for a later time. I can change my font. I can do all these wonderful things here. I can send an attachment. How do I want to send an attachment? It will ask me. So if I click on this and it's thinking, and it's going to default to my computer. Let's say I don't want that to default from my computer. I want it to go from my Google Drive. If I have the app on the device, which I don't on this one, it'll give you that option as well. You can add a link. As you can see here, we have our Google Drive. So we can click on that. We can insert files using Google Drive. So we can upload anything from our Google Drive. We can add the link only. We can do from anywhere at any time, anything that's shared with me. So we can do that here. If I have a file on my computer, but I don't want to send it from my computer, I want to be able to access that same file, I can then go ahead and upload it to my Google Drive and share it that way as well. And we also have the option here of you want to start just a specific photo, you can do that. So you have these options that are available here. You can also do, if you want something sent as confidential, you can do that in there as well. And remember that the ellipsis is your friend and it will always give you additional options and action items that you can utilize for yourself. So that brings us at 12:52, and I just wanted to check in to see if there are any questions.
Hi, quick question about selecting a group of emails. If we would like to send a message to a group of people, how can we do that easily?
That's a really great question. There are a couple different ways to do that. You can set up a group in your email, in your contacts. So I'm going to click on the application, or I can click on my contacts here on the right-hand side, the right-hand navigation panel. And if I wanted to create, let's make that larger. I want to go ahead and create a contact. If I want to create a group, I can do that. Multiple contacts. And I want to create maybe create a label for my contacts. If I want to look at my groups, I can do that here. This is likely the best place to do it for yourself. So if I want to create a contact, I'm going to click on that. If I want to give my contacts, my group of contacts, a photo for that group, I can do that here as well. I can add them and create those contacts and that information and add them. I can also import. If you have like a listing that you're importing from somewhere else, you can do that as well. Pull those in order to send a group email versus sending individual emails. So you have those options. You can also create a group list from emails that have been sent to you. So you can copy a group and create that if you're going to do something follow for the future, and you can do that as well. That's a great question. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Debbie now. Let me stop sharing my screen. I'm going to turn it over to Debbie now to see if she has any other information she'd like to share with us.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you to all of you for dealing with the technical difficulties. We are taping this. It will be available next week on our YouTube station, and I will send that out in a follow-up email. I just want to tell you about tonight. A Washington Post reporter chronicles the discovery of a mass grave in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which initiated the reign of racial terror and legacy of violence sweeping across the U.S. And it's not to say it wasn't there before, but it's just to say this is going to be really interesting. She did a lot of research and appears in a National Geographic television special. If you want to get our newsletter, you can email me or just write yes below and write newsletter. If you want to get further announcements about today's program, same thing. And again, we have to thank Susan for such an incredibly great job, and thank you to all of you for doing the program with us. Okay, any questions? I'll stay on for a few minutes or so. Susan, be sure to look at chat, and you will see compliments. So thank you all again for coming, and feel free to part for the next workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Did you want something else? And you have to unmute yourself if you want something to talk. Same thing for everybody else on here.
I was saying that it's good information. Thank you. And if you can send the newsletter
Okay.
to my email, I was about to type my email.
That would be great. And just if you want to put it just to me. Okay, thanks. I don't know if Pete Thomas, Christine, Kenny, Orlando, or Gloria are still here, but I think this meeting is basically finished.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. How do you pronounce your name?
Hasifa.
Hasifa. Great, thank you.
Yes, and I heard about this program through the Center for Women.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, so you can sign out if you want.
Yes, thank you.